I never thought one reckless sentence could end an entire marriage, but I found out the hard way that some words slice deeper than any knife ever could. My name is Sophia, and for a long time I honestly believed I was a great wife to my husband Lucas. Sure, we had our rough patches like any normal couple, but nothing ever felt broken beyond repair. Or so I told myself. It all blew up one random weeknight over something completely stupid: takeout. Lucas had worked late again, dragged himself through the door wiped out, and just asked if we could eat whatever I'd already ordered. I don't know what snapped in me. Stress, jealousy, pure pettiness, but I crossed my arms and spat out the cruelest thing I could have said. You know what? You're not even half the lover Nathan was. He actually knew how to make me feel wanted. You don't. The room went dead silent. Lucas didn't yell. He didn't swear. He didn't even raise his voice. He just looked at me like he didn't recognize the woman standing in front of him, and in that second I didn't recognize myself either. I wanted to swallow those words the moment they left my mouth, but pride glued my lips shut. He walked past me, grabbed a pillow and slept on the couch. The first night in 5 years we hadn't shared the same bed. The next morning I tried to fix it. Lucas, I didn't mean it. I was mad and said something dumb. You know how I get. He looked at me with this eerie calm that scared me more than any fight ever had. You meant it enough to say it out loud, sophomore. Then he picked up his keys and left for work. For the next week everything was polite, quiet, and painfully distant. He wasn't cold exactly, just careful. Like I was made of cracked glass he didn't want to shatter completely. I kept telling myself we'd talk it out eventually. I had no idea he'd already decided. One Thursday he came home early, sat down across from me at the kitchen table, and folded his hands. Sophia, I'm moving out. My stomach dropped. Lucas, no. Please. We can fix this. I love you. I love you too, he said quietly. But love isn't supposed to feel like that. What you said didn't just bruise my ego. It made me realize I've been running a race I didn't even know I was in. And I was losing to a ghost. I cried, begged, promised I'd change, anything. But the pain in his eyes was miles deeper than any sorry could reach. That same night he packed 2 suitcases, kissed my forehead like you'd kiss a sad stranger, and walked out. For 2 months we barely spoke. A couple of texts about bills, one awkward call about a misplaced package. I told myself he just needed space and he'd come back once he cooled off. Then I saw the photo on his sister's Instagram story. Lucas with his arm around a petite brunette named Chloe, big smile, warm eyes, dimples for days. They looked happy. Like stupidly happy. I stalked her page, of course I did. It was all golden hour brunches, art galleries, and charity runs. She looked like the kind of woman who never weaponized words, never compared her man to an ex just to win a fight. I told myself it was a rebound, a distraction. A week later Lucas showed up at my door looking healthier, lighter, almost peaceful. My heart jumped. He's here to work things out. Instead he said, Sophia, I wanted you to hear it from me first. I'm engaged. Everything went blurry. I couldn't breathe. Her name is Chloe, he continued, gentle but steady. I didn't go looking for this. But she's been healing. Healing. A word I thought was ours. How did this happen so fast? I choked out. He glanced away for a second. Sometimes the right person shows up right after you realize you've been bleeding out with the wrong one. I wanted to scream, fall apart, beg on my knees. Instead I just nodded like a robot. He stepped closer, rested a hand on my shoulder. Not comfort, goodbye. I never wanted it to end like this. I really did love us, sophomore. I still care about you. But I can't keep holding on to someone who's already checked out in her heart. Those words hit harder than the first ones ever did. Because they were true. I checked out the second I used Nathan's name as a weapon. I was wrong, I whispered. I didn't mean it like that. I don't even know why I said it. He gave me the saddest half-smile. It wasn't about thinking, sophomore. It was about feeling. And once someone feels that kind of disrespect, the only thing left is to protect what's left of yourself. I wanted to fight, to promise I could be better. But the trust we'd spent years building had shattered in one sentence, and no amount of glue was bringing it back. Her name again? I asked, voice barely there. Chloe, he said softly. She's kind. She's gentle. And she actually sees me. I swallowed the rock in my throat. I hope she makes you happy. Really? His eyes softened for just a second. I hope you find someone who challenges you to be better, who grows with you, who respects you just as much on your worst day. You deserve that too, sophomore. One day. Then he walked out. Door clicked. Silence. The weeks that followed were nothing but regret on repeat. Every fight, every careless jab, every moment I took him for granted played on a loop in my head. Friends tried to comfort me, but nothing helped. I had torpedoed my own marriage. I tried dating again. Awkward coffee dates, forced smiles, but every new guy just reminded me of what I'd lost and who I used to be. Months later, I bumped into Lucas and Chloe at a bookstore. They looked solid, peaceful, whole. He saw me, gave a small nod and a quiet, "Hey Sophia. Hope you're doing okay." I forced a smile. Getting there. I walked away pretending my chest wasn't caving in, but part of me will always stay in that aisle, trapped behind the wall I built with my own mouth. That's when it finally sank in. Some mistakes aren't little oopsies. They're life-altering bombs disguised as a single sentence. I stopped being angry at him. I got angry at me, the version of me who threw away everything over a moment of cruelty. Slowly I started healing too. Journaling every night. Coffee with old friends. Volunteering at the animal shelter. It didn't bring Lucas back, but it gave me something to pour love into that couldn't leave. A little over a year later, I actually laughed again, real deep from the belly laughter. I'd met someone named Ryan. He's patient, funny, and never makes me feel like I have to be perfect. He didn't erase the past, but he helped me rebuild the parts of me that knew how to trust and love without keeping score. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about Lucas and Chloe and hope they're building something beautiful. Because the only way to honor what I lost is to never, ever let cruel words leave my mouth like that again. I told my husband his predecessor was better in bed. And in one sentence, I lost the best man I'd ever had. But I gained the hardest, most expensive lesson of my life. Love is fragile. Respect is the only thing that keeps it from falling apart. And once it's gone, even the strongest connection can disappear in the space of 10 careless words. That's a truth I'll carry forever.